Okay, chatters, we're back. YouTube. Today we're reacting to the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial recap. As you all may know, I knew Johnny Depp was gonna win. Sorry, got a break. I knew he was gonna win because I've been watching this trial for the longest, and every time Amber Heard opened up her mouth, she said stuff she wasn't supposed to say, and then stuff that made her story sounds like it's not true and it's fake. As you all may know, Johnny Depp got awarded $15,000, she got $2,000. As far as the cookie has crumbled. And I gotta tell people all the time, the beauty, no, it works out. You also gotta think too how many times she don't cut this dude. What's that old saying that people used to say? When you cut somebody, you gotta be prepared to get cut 1,000 times. No, you cut somebody once, you need to be prepared to be cut 1,000 times. And she probably don't cut Johnny Depp so many times and now all this stuff. Cause let me see, what is Amber Heard net worth? I don't think it went up either. What's her actual net worth? Amber Heard net worth. And we know they gave $15 million to Johnny Depp, but what's her actual net worth? $6 million. Plus the $2 million she got, which probably not even finna go there. It's probably finna get split between her lawyers and them, which she didn't accumulate. Oh, well, it tells you right here. It's literally right underneath the thing when you scroll down and look at her bank. So the $2 million she got doesn't even go to her. Wow, they actually get distributed, and then the money that she owed from that place that she said she donated the money from. So that was Johnny Depp net worth. Let's see what you got, Johnny Depp. I bet you got a fat ass bank account. Johnny Depp net worth is $150 million. Damn. Well, her career is over with. It's finna be destroyed. We need to turn on the light too so y'all can see me. There we go. But her career is over with, dude. Jesus Christ. Also, I might skip through this a lot because I don't want this video to be too long. So we might skip. You guys can check out this. This is name. What's your name, man, my boy? I always watch him for heavily spoiled. This is my guy. Go to the watch everything and see what he thinks about the situation. But I stuck with Johnny Depp on this trial the entire time because I don't dated crazy women before. When you date a crazy girl, you already know. I'm always gonna have the dude's side, period. Because when they say, hey, she's crazy, I be like, bro, I don't dated a crazy girl. I'm sticking to the dude's side because who knows what she done did. I give Amber Heard benefit of the doubt, but that's that simp me. That's that simp me to be looking at that hot, beautiful, white, blonde-haired girl with them beautiful blue eyes. I'm 50-50, always. But I was leaning more towards Johnny on that 51% because I've dated a crazy girl that's literally called the cops on me and told me I beat her ass. And then when the cops got here, she beat my ass. And I was sitting in the room watching TV and laying down while she was, you know how women get. But anyway, let's check out here what he says.
Abuse comes in many forms, either being verbal, physical, or mentally, which this case has went through at several points. Heard took a two-point strategy in firstly denying that the op-ed was about him, but she also stated that he was abusive to her, so even if they ruled that it was written with him in mind, that it's still true. On the last day though, she did kind of slip up and admit that the op-ed was about him, which meant that she had to basically double down on the second point to cover her bases.
Told this jury under oath that you had no idea that the paparazzi would be at the courthouse on May 27th, 2016. You didn't expect a TMZ employee to show up to testify that TMZ had been alerted that you would be at the courthouse and knew exactly which side of your face to take a picture of, did you?
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed, is I was speaking to that phenomenon.
Actually, she's lying. You can see how she's lying. First of all, she's not even looking this woman in the eye when she's saying this. This is a whole lie she just plotted in her head. When women lie and they don't look you in the eyes, they're lying. She's not looking this other woman in the eye because she know everything that's coming out of her mouth is bullshit.
Phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall?
People who tell the truth, they gonna look you dead in your eyes. They gonna look you dead in your eyes.
To his power. He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
Currying
and I know
favor
that
and
firsthand. I've
risking
lived
jail
it.
time for committing perjury.
Excuse me? I didn't hear your question.
You didn't hear my question?
Ms. Vasquez, if you do mind,
Curry.
please just repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom
I have
for
seen
a
people
powerful
do this.
man?
I have seen people do this time and time again.
As I've been covering this trial, I've had many people also bring up the libel case in London, saying that this definitely proves Heard was the sole victim, but that was never against her, rather it was against the Sun newspaper. They printed a story about the entire situation, and Depp was suing them for libel. However, he would have only won this if he could prove that they knew the story was false and still knowingly printed it. This is of course impossible to prove to a newspaper,
and it really showed because Johnny Depp's ex-wife before he got with her was the girl, I forgot her name, he dated previously before her. I forgot her name, dude. She was on trial too. I can't remember her name. She was asked some serious questions of did Johnny ever beat her or hit on her and all that stuff. She told the truth. But some people are saying, oh, Johnny paid her or gave her some money. Nah, if anything, that $15 million he got from this court case probably went to her. But he know for a fact, a lot of people don't understand, when people have good relationships with women, when you leave off on a good note with a woman, because I'm going to tell you right now, if I call it, well, I can't call it, you ask any of my exes, they'll back shit talk about him. They probably won't even remember me. The fact that his ex-wife remembers him and knows that he was a good man and took care of her, so that she cared about them. Most women, when you go through a girl, they don't give a fuck about you. Hell, you lucky if they don't even remember you. They be like, I don't know who that is.
As they were given Amber's evidence, they ran with it. I never thought Johnny should have gone that route, and in all honesty, you might remember that he ended up having to leave Fantastic Beasts after the verdict of it. This isn't about proving what's really happened, it's about proving the op-ed was either about Johnny or that it wasn't. Now, defamation cases are rarely won because it's so difficult to out and out say for definite these kinds of allegations. However, at least in the eyes of the jury, Depp proved his side. Either way, I think that Depp basically wanted to get his side of the story out there, as we've pretty much only heard what happened from Amber. Though there were clips, photos, and recordings released by Johnny, they never had the full weight of the media behind them like Heard's did, and it never got the attention it also deserved, at least in my opinion. Now, what does this verdict really mean? Well, it's something that the media aren't fully reporting on truthfully, and when you boil it down to its most basic terms, if the jury believed that Depp had abused Amber, then he would have lost this case. So, though they aren't lining it out, this is bad for Heard because it means she either didn't provide enough evidence to back up her claims, or that they were as fake as Depp said they were. This is why it's very damaging for Heard's story, because it states that she lied, which was further followed up in the decision on her side. Now, the count that Heard won on relates to the statement made by Depp's team that she and her friends called the police to make it look like there'd been a domestic disturbance. When they then left, it was stated that they staged the scene to make it look like there'd been a fight, and they called the police once more. So she won on this claim being defamatory. However, the two counts that she lost on was centered around the entire thing being a hoax that Heard used as a weapon against Depp. This is really bad for her public image, and it will likely have massive ramifications on her career. There's a lot of talk from people who support Heard at the moment that public opinion was heavily influenced by TikTok and YouTubers who cherry-pick clips to hammer home that she was the one at fault, but this jury didn't have any outside influences and they were under strict instructions to not watch any coverage of the trial. There's also people saying that those who support Depp didn't really watch the trial, but I've seen this used alongside them saying the UK one was right, even though it wasn't televised. Either way, I don't think this verdict has really changed people's mind on who they're supporting. For the rest of the video, we're going to be going over the last 2 days, the statements that were made, and how I believe they ended up influencing this decision. Now, our last video released just after Kate Moss took to the stand, and from this point onwards, we had several last-minute testimonies. This included Morgan Tremaine, an ex-TMZ employee who discussed several last-minute testimonies. This included Morgan Tremaine, an ex-TMZ employee who discussed the photographs taken of Heard leaving the courthouse with bruises on her face. Heard has denied tipping off the outlet, and though he didn't confirm whether she was the source that told them to be there, he went over the entire situation and how they get their info.
And who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities.
Lawyers?
And lawyers, definitely.
How were tips verified?
Tips are verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line,
even in court,
we have to verify who sent it, that the source is truthful,
they can throw
and so
money
they have to
around like this. They can
add their
just throw
contact
millions of
information, which
dollars
is
like it ain't
a
nothing.
field in that on that website for like name, phone number, things like that.
And how long did that process typically take?
If we receive a tip through the tip line, it could take a while because that would need to be, if it was a tip, we would need to verify it. If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively.
Is it true you'll be shooting the remake of a French silent film?
I'll be Irma Beck.
Skip.
Verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would have the legal ability to air it and distribute it.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Heard?
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Did your team of videographers get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
What is the difference between receiving a tip from a news producer and any other source?
If it's any other source, it would have to be verified by copyright. If it was anything that was received directly through a news producer, then they go through that process to verify the source.
Did you do anything to verify the tip on May 27th, 2016 related to Amber Heard?
I did not.
Why not?
Because it had come directly from a news producer.
Does that mean it had been verified?
It means that they had verified that tip and deemed that it was credible, and therefore a camera person needed to be dispatched.
So this testimony basically states that it was either Heard herself or someone very close to her that tipped off TMZ to be at the courthouse. This moment is being criticized online because it's the one time that Heard stated she didn't wear makeup to cover her bruises, which Depp's team have argued means that it's staged. Tremaine never got into who tipped him off, and he also discussed the video of Johnny slamming cabinets that was sent to TMZ. Tremaine actually went viral for clapping back at Heard's team when they said he was just after his 15 minutes of fame.
You know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
it? I can ask that question.
Overruled.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in a target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
Now, are you aware that Mr. Depp's attorneys were well aware of the TRO that was going to be presented on May 27th?
Objection calls for speculation.
Were you aware of that?
Lack of foundation.
Overruled if you can answer it.
Can you restate the question?
Were you aware that Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys were aware that Amber Heard was going in to seek a TRO on May 27th?
I don't think I understand the question. I don't think so, no.
Okay.
It's
Do
kind of a
you
complicated
know whether Blair Burke, one of Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys, had a very close relationship?
Make sure y'all check out my
with TMZ at
Final
that time?
Fantasy
Objection,
and
calls for
Street Fighter
speculation.
5 reaction. Those are up too while we're watching this. Make sure y'all get those videos a like.
I was not aware of that.
Please smash the
And
like button. I'm
when
doing
you
this for all
said
you guys.
that you were
And the
dispatched
cookies and
twice,
cream ice
once
cream.
to film
We don't
Amber
want no
for
fucking
in the parking
cookies.
lot for the deposition, and then it didn't work out, and so you had to do it another time. How did you know it didn't work out?
Because TMZ.com posted an article saying as much.
Okay.
And
Do you
I was
know-
not dispatched.
Do you know
I worked in the office.
why the deposition did not work out?
I'd have to reference the article, I forget.
So do you know?
I didn't write that story. I wasn't involved in the
Do
actual
you know
journalism of that.
which side? Do you know which side would have known or not known whether that deposition was going to work out? In other words, the people representing Mr. Depp or the people representing Ms. Heard?
I wouldn't know.
Now from here we had Dr. Shannon Curry take the stand once more. She basically went over the finer points of her first testimony and then also went over Dr. Hughes' counter one. In case you don't know, Curry basically outlined that Amber had BPD and had fabricated most of her story about Depp, whilst Hughes said the complete opposite and stated that it was all true in her opinion. Curry was called back and went over the PTSD test that she had given to Amber, and she stated that in her opinion, Hughes made the test fit the results that she wanted, rather than the other way around, which is how it should be. Curry also stated that the test purposely has questions in it that are put in there to detect people faking PTSD. These will seem like genuine ones, but people who answer them are likely trying to give the impression that they have it when they really don't.
So Dr. Hughes generally said that testing
So she
supported
probably don't have
PTSD,
PTSD, she's been faking
and
it.
that there was an etiology for her trauma of intimate partner violence. She did reference that essentially I can't remember if she said that the trauma symptom inventory indicated PTSD, but she did say that the elevation on that validity scale is consistent with PTSD, and that's simply not true. That scale was designed and has been tested and shown to be there to show when somebody is endorsing extremely unusual items that are not consistent with PTSD. And even though when some people are experiencing PTSD, their distress level.
Johnny's team brought forth a metadata expert to go over some of the items Amber had submitted, which was then rebuffed by her witness. I try and keep my opinion out of this stuff, but I really don't know why Amber and her team thought it was wise to submit this photograph as two separate pieces when you can tell it's the same photo, isn't it? Amber said that one was taken with a vanity light on and the other without one, but if you zoom in and look at even the flecks of hair, they're all in the exact same position, which I think would be absolutely impossible to do by accident. To me, this was a major point in the case that I was surprised Heard's team actually allowed her to submit, and Depp's side even placed the images over the top of each other to show how they lined up.
They're the same.
And Mr. Neumeister, what's your, what do we see here in this demonstrative?
There's Exhibit 712, I believe you have. I'm not sure the dates number, 712 and 713. They're two separate exhibits, except it's the exact same photograph that's been, one's been edited, one hasn't. Or I can't say that one hasn't, but the colors have been modified in an editor.
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond the scope of your ruling, talking about colors. It keeps happening.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, he was also asked about the bruised photographs.
And Mr. Neumeister, what does this demonstrative show about the photos that you analyzed?
Well, they appear to be similar. However, if you look below at the file sizes, one on the left is 712 kilobytes. The one in the middle is 489 kilobytes. And the one on the right is 524 kilobytes.
Took these pictures.
Now, what's unusual about that is these photos will not digitally fingerprint with each other. They won't hash. In other words, forensically, they don't match. But the thing is, you could say, well, it was sent through email, maybe it's a different size. The file sizes, for example, would be possibly, you can select the file size, you send a photo, but there's no way to authenticate any photo that was presented in the way the evidence was collected.
And so what conclusions do you draw from that?
Well, this is just three of many of the same type of photos that are all different sizes and have different chromatic, which means color.
Objection, Your Honor. We just had a ruling on this.
All right. Sustained objection. Mr. Newmaster, stick to your opinions that relate specifically to what you analyzed about the EXIF data, please.
All three of these photos had to go through some type of transformation to change sizes.
Amber's team then brought in their own expert, but he kind of scored an own goal on it.
Sir, you just agreed with me that those two photos are different photos, correct?
I agreed that they were visually different, yes.
Right. So they are two visually different photos that were created at the exact same hour, the exact same minute, the exact same second as each other, correct?
That's what the datetime metadata shows, yes.
And the metadata shows something else, too. They have the exact same file name, don't they, sir?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, but that's not embedded metadata.
So again, he just confirms this is the same photo, which we all knew, and I really don't understand why the legal team allowed this to be submitted as two separate images. This was a case that was built massively around Amber's credibility, and it was such a risk submitting this in the first place. Now, another thing that was a major risk was allowing both Amber and Johnny to take the stand again. In court, you rarely want to have your client giving testimony because it gives the other side a chance to bring out as many things against you as they can. This is why whenever you watch movies based on trials, they tend to have, say, the murderer not testifying or at least not being advised to. Heard's team really didn't waste any time either, and they brought out so many text messages that made Depp look bad. I'm not going to analyze this, and that's the same with Amber's statement, as it goes over some pretty graphic stuff, and I run the risk of making light of certain things, but the testimonies are out in full on YouTube. If you want to see them. Throughout this whole thing, I've tried to put myself in the position of the jury, and I know that if it was me, I'd be focused on what the witnesses and experts say, rather than what the people involved in it themselves do, as there's more chance of them being biased. Whether this was an ego play by Depp's team or not, we will likely never know, but having Depp on the stand once more also made Amber come forward as well, and like I said, I don't think that she should have done this. It allowed Camille Vasquez to go over everything all over again, leave it fresh in the jury's mind, and she also brought forth new evidence that she'd been holding up her sleeve. It was also where Amber basically said that she wrote the op-ed about Johnny and doing this on
I just want to say something. The jury, I bet when the jury went back there and they was talking about this shit, bro, it's like, man, I'm tired of this shit. But just say Johnny wins and give Amber the stick and let's get the fuck home, because I got to go pick up my kids from school at 3. I bet that that's exactly what the jury did, because if I was the jury and I had to we had to decide, I would have walked in that jump like this. Yeah, she lying. Yeah, I gotta pick up my kids at 3. Gotta take them to McDonald's. We getting the fuck out of here. Let's just give Johnny the money, send that bitch home, and it's call it a day. Sweep it on the rug. We're done. I can't do this no more. We've been at this shit for 4 days. We out of here.
The last 2 days for both sides was extremely risky, and in my opinion led to the verdict that we got. And that takes us to the closing statements. All 4 lawyers took completely different strategies, and as always,
Johnny got a beautiful lawyer. He's probably gonna be dating this chick next.
Camille came out with a barrage of evidence, and also the witnesses that testified against Amber. These were...
Whoa, look at this dress she got on.
You heard from, who saw her that week of May 21st, 2016, also knew it. But the world only saw what she wanted.
What the?
There were many played by both parties. Is Mr. Depp ever admitting to hitting, punching?
Oh my
God. Is it true you'll be shooting a remake of a French silent film?
I'll be Irma Vep.
Or kicking Miss Heard. You didn't hear it. It doesn't exist. It didn't happen. And despite the fact that Mr. Depp and Miss Heard are heard discussing many of the alleged incidents you've heard about at this trial, like Australia and the Bahamas.
So this is Amber Heard lawyer right here.
You never heard Miss Heard accuse Mr. Depp of sexual assault. Unlike Mr. Depp, who you heard admit to and own up to his past mistakes and his struggles, particularly with drugs and alcohol, Ms. Heard will not admit that she has ever done anything wrong.
Yeah, that is true. Johnny Depp he did convince that he was an alcoholic, like he drank a lot of alcohol. Not once that Heard ever said that she done anything wrong. She kept saying Johnny did this, Johnny did that. She never once stated that she did anything wrong, which is even more suspect that she was lying.
She cannot deny.
Because most people who gonna tell the truth, they gonna come clean because they want to win. I'll be like, man, yeah, I did this, I did that, he did this, I did that.
On those recordings. As much as Ms. Heard and her lawyers have tried to make this case about Mr. Depp's language, it is Ms. Heard that repeatedly admits to violence. When you catch Ms. Heard in a lie, she tries to cover it up with more lies. So let's talk about the giant lie at the heart of this case. Ms. Heard's claim that Mr. Depp is an abusive monster and that she is a public figure representing domestic abuse. She spun a story of shocking, overwhelming, brutal abuse. She came into this courtroom prepared to give the performance of her life, and she gave it. Ms. Heard's acting coach, Christina Sexton, testified that Ms. Heard has difficulty crying when she is acting. You saw it. Ms. Heard sobbing without tears, while spinning elaborate, exaggerated, fantastical accounts of abuse.
Bro, this woman is cold-blooded right here. She is a demon. She just beating that dead horse. She just... That's exactly what's happening right now.
And everything going on in her
I feel
mind.
like if every head was in a room with her and they were trapped in a box, she would choke the shit out of her.
Almost a decade prior.
I could just look. I don't even have to be here. I could just look in her eyes and see the pure evil that she wants to kill this woman. She's like, you... I ain't gonna say it.
And you can't pick and choose which of these wild allegations to believe and which ones to disregard. You either believe all of it or none of it. Either Mr. Depp sexually assaulted Ms. Heard with a bottle in Australia, or Ms. Heard got up on that stand in front of all of you and made up that horrific tale of abuse. Either she's a victim of truly horrific abuse, or she is a woman who is willing to say absolutely anything. But this case doesn't come down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp. This case comes down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp, Christy Dombrowski, Sean Bett, Malcolm Connolly, Travis McGivern, Starling Jenkins, Keenan Wyatt, Dr. Kipper, nurses Debbie Lloyd and Aaron Filati, Tara Roberts, Ben King, Kate James, Kate Moss, Dr. Colbert, Morgan Knight,
all these names.
Morgan Tremaine,
all these names.
Officers Melissa Sines.
Ago testified. He knows the words are true. Mr. Depp.
He didn't know that he did all of those things. She wasn't wearing any makeup. She was natural.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use this tool.
These folks
it's
are
a browser extension that
they're like, she wasn't using any makeup. It's the same picture.
Every one of them said that it's the exact
She's
same thing.
beautiful. His lawyer he got is very beautiful.
She's not going to go out.
Johnny Depp sure know how to pick these women.
You know, without putting makeup
Hopefully
on.
she's
And if
not
she
crazy.
has bruises, why on earth, when she's been covering them up for 4 years, why on earth would she not put makeup on so that she would cover those up? Why on earth would she not?
I don't want to hear nothing from the...
Now that brings us to the verdict, which I watched live, and we even had a bit where they had to delay the decision because the jury didn't fill out the form correctly. It was very tense, but it did hint that someone had indeed won. In the end, they found that the article was defamatory.
Is that the video? Or?
And that Amber pushed the idea that Depp was abusive to destroy his career. But since then, the pair have...
Oh my God.
Hey, it's Clint Boyer. Be sure to watch NASCAR Live on Fox and FS1.
Both released statements. Amber's reads, "The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women.
Right?
It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issues of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American, to speak freely and open. Now Johnny's reads, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very serious and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me. It had already travelled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something I owed to my children and to all those who've remained steadfast in their support of me.
Oh, that's
I feel
gonna
at
hurt,
peace knowing,
because I forgot he do got children by her, and like her kids gonna hate her ass. They gonna be like, Mom, fuck you do daddy like that. Let me stop.
I firmly accomplished that.
Wait till they turn
After hearing
16,
this, his
it's gonna be
lawyer said
hell,
this.
babe.
Their careful deliberation, to the judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her
Back to work with Disney on Pirates of the Caribbean, but I do think that his career back on track.
Thank you so much.
So whether either will work again remains to be seen, but I think that Depp will at least now have the vindication to get his career back on track. Depp has said he would never go back to work with Disney on Pirates of the Caribbean, but I do think there might at least be some negotiations there. As for her, we know her role is massively cut down in Aquaman 2, and whether she continues as this character remains to be seen. This trial could potentially bankrupt her, and I doubt the charities will ever receive the money that she pledged. Now this trial obviously has a lot going.
That's what I'm saying, bro. She's in a hole, dude. She's finna go bankrupt. That $6 million she got now finna be gone. Gone. Like all that money that she took to go do this case, it's literally finna backfire on her. Sorry, my TV's doing some weird shit. Just showed me that I got an email from my computer, but I got it going. Whatever. Anyways, she's finna be broke now. She's finna be, ooh, man, I hate to be in her heels. She's finna go insane. I hope she gets some help though, because she's finna need it. She need to go get a doctor, a psychiatrist, a therapist. She gonna need all of that. All of that. Because she is finna need it, y'all. Like, this is no joke. No joke at all. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please sure to give this video a like and subscribe. If you want to see more of my reactions towards any of my other videos, make sure you check out my my Street Fighter 5 reaction, because it's up now. It should be up now. At least I hope it is. I just ain't got no voice in it because my mic wasn't recording my voice, so I don't feel like trying to back record, you know, whatever. But the good news is, hey, you can watch the trailer. You can see the trailer, the gameplay, all this stuff. So that's the best thing about it. But it was nice breaking this down and seeing this. I feel so sorry for her, dude. I really do. I feel like I can't feel sorry for her because knowing what she did, but at the same time, man, it's just, man, women. The more beautiful they are, the more dangerous they become. I always say the roses have the most beautiful, the beautiful fragrance, but they have the deadliest thorns or some shit like that. I think that's what they said. Roses are so beautiful and smell good, but they have like the spikes at the bottom of it, so when you touch it, go, ah, my finger. That's what Amber Heard is. She's one of those roses that stick your ass if you try to pick it. So, but we're out here, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Maybe we should talk about more about this later, but hey, it'd be too long for this video.